Take a Seat Gaming is one of the oldest gaming communities in the scene. We don't have a big ego about it. We're just better than you. You're now listening to the Take a Seat Tidbits podcast, featuring different hosts and leaders every episode.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Take a Seat Tidbits podcast. I'm your host, TSB King Warthog, coming at you with another episode today. Joining me is my co-host. We got TSB Punk. Punk, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, man, just trying to get this stuff recorded and stay warm at the same time, so we'll see how this works out. But, we got a great episode coming at you today. We're going to dive into the daily activities of some of the div staff and some of the squad members over in the division Hidden Royalty. We've got a couple of guests here with us today that are real special. Starting off, we'll go ahead and introduce our first guest, Swifty Driver 101. How's it going, Swifty?
Good, how are you?
Doing all right. Glad to have you here. We're super excited to talk to y'all about some things. Next up on the chopping block here, we have Seda. Seda, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing good, doing good. Really excited to have y'all here. Seda, you're a colonel over in HR, correct?
Yes, I'm Colonel of Ascendancy.
Ascendancy. I love that name. That's awesome. That's why I was bringing that up. I wanted to hear you say the name. That's a cool name. All right. And next up, we have Kitchen. Kitchen, how you doing?
Good, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Super excited, ready to get this going. Eager to introduce my next guest. It's very special to have. I think it's our first div leader to have on the podcast. But joining us today, we have our very own podcast member, TSB TX Nighthawk 97. Nighthawk, how is it going?
Oh, it's good. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're really excited about having you on here. Like I said, I think you're our first div leader to actually be on the podcast. So I'm really excited about hearing your point of view on everything and the story on how you actually got to that position. We're going to be going in and talking about, like I said, it's called Hidden Royalty. And y'all are a PlayStation division. Isn't that correct?
Yes. Well, we are one of two PlayStation divisions that TSB has.
Okay, so there's two PlayStation divisions. How many members do y'all have over in y'all's division right now?
We're sitting about 260-ish members.
Okay.
You know how CMS is.
Oh yeah. So those are actually really good numbers. That's y'all are working y'all's way up there. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear it. So real quick, I just want to jump back over to, I want to ask Swifty. Swifty, can you tell us your rank and how long you've been in TSB?
So I'm only a captain compared to these people. I've been in about a month and a half, something like that.
Okay, perfect. And what your time in TSB? What are some, like, you enjoying yourself? You're doing, as a captain, you're obviously doing some recruiting and some workshops and stuff like that. How's that been going for you?
It's going great. Yeah. Doing a lot of game nights too, stuff like that.
Oh yeah. I bring it up because captain, I was gonna, you bring up compared to these other ranks and basically, we've got a colonel here with us, we've got a BG here with us, and then of course our div lead guy Nighthawk. But in my opinion, one of the most important ranks that we have in TSB is the captain's role, because y'all are the ones still down there doing those recruiting, getting new members into our community for us, and then making sure that everyone feels comfortable. And so it's like that captain spot, I believe, is one of the more important ones. Are you working to get one like a major spot in here? You still striving to keep ranking up?
Yeah, I definitely am working hard for that. Yeah.
Yeah. So down in your squad, since you mentioned game nights, what are some of the more popular game nights that y'all have over in HR?
A lot of Rainbow. There's some people playing Minecraft. We do have a Realm. A lot of people playing that. I think I've seen some Call of Duties. Modern Warfare 3 betas.
Okay. And what was the name of the squad that you're in? I don't know if you had already said it.
Oh, I'm in Ascendancy. Okay,
so you're actually in Sada's squad. That's right?
Yes, I am. Yep.
Cool. So Sada, being the colonel of Ascendancy, you obviously probably came from a spot where you were a major and did a squad split. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. What was the name of the original squad that you came into TSB?
It was Prominence.
Prominence.
Yes.
Man, that's cool, man. Over in HR, y'all got some cool squad names. Over in DS, we got some really cool squad names over there, but man, y'all are knocking them out of the park with these names over in HR. That's cool. So, Seda, how long have you been in TSB?
I've been in TSB, I think, since March.
Since March?
Yeah.
Nice. So you, let's see, that's March, April, May, June, July, August. So you're looking at about 6 or 7 months that you've been in TSB.
Yes, that is correct.
So you got that loyalty is royalty tag now. So how long have you been a colonel?
Only about like a few weeks now.
Oh, so it's like still fresh water for you. How you are you enjoying it?
Yes, I am. I thought it would be more overwhelming, but it is not actually. It's pretty easy, and I like it.
Oh yeah, I love the colonel role because it's that last rank where you're in the trenches with the squad. You're still in there worrying about those game nights and getting people active and being involved in those chats. I know the BGs and the div staff and everyone really get involved in squad chats and stuff too, but that colonel rank is the last one where you're really building up that camaraderie with your guys before you move on to BG and you're looking over multiple squads,
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, so mentioning a BG, Kitchen, you're a BG over in HR, correct?
Yes, I am.
Very cool. And y'all only have the 2 squads in HR right now, right? Or I mean, y'all said y'all have 2 PlayStation divisions. How many squads do y'all have in HR?
5 squads.
5 squads? Okay, very cool. And you look over 2 of them?
Yes, I do.
Okay, what are the names of the 2 squads that you look over?
I look over Prominence and Ascendancy.
Oh, okay, so we're really staying on track so y'all all are really intertwined and y'all are all working together every day in TSB. Y'all know each other pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is a good group of guests to have here. Man, it sounds like Nighthawk. It sounds like you put together a pretty good little team of people down here, running your squads and making sure that your division is running pretty smooth. What are some things that you tell your leadership staff as you're training them and getting them ready for those positions?
Well, as far as that, I kind of really don't tell them anything, just because my leadership style is going to be different than theirs. So it's one of them things where I kind of let them feel their way through how they want to do things, whether from majors and up. Um, so that they all pretty much have their own leadership style, and I let them run, and right now it's working for HR. So I don't see any sense in changing it.
Right, that's that letting them spread their wings, but pointing them in the right direction method. I like it. So, how long have you been in TSP, Nighthawk?
Oh boy, I'm going to answer this question. I'm going to be the elder statesman. Um, I, I have been in TSB. It'll be 4 years in January. Um, I was one of the. There's only a few people that are left, but I'm one of the OG original PlayStation guys that was here from day one.
Really?
Yes, sir.
So you've seen you've seen some stuff here in TSB. You've watched it grow from the very beginning, as far as the PlayStation division is concerned.
Yes, yes, and just if you don't mind, I give a little bit of backstory on how HR came to be.
Yeah,
Um,
let's hear it.
HR wasn't always the PlayStation division. When myself and I think there's two others that have been here since day one as well. Um, we all came over here and it was called Acts of Valor. It kind of went through a transformation, and then it went to internal chaos. Um, some things kind of happened to unravel it, and now we're HR, and this is where we're at. So I've seen everything happen in the PlayStation division, and I don't think there's enough room in the episode to tell you some of the stories that have gone on. So,
Man, I can believe you there, man. There's some crazy stories that can be told in these gaming communities. But so tell me this: how did you discover TSB?
uh, I actually came over with a group of people that I'm not just going to preface this that I kind of followed over here, and they're part of some of the stuff that's happened over the years since I've
Right.
been here. So I kind of joined them over here. I've been here ever since. I enjoy the people.
Yeah.
I just got no reason to leave.
Yeah. So you say you came over with a group of people. Were you involved in another gaming community before this?
Yes, I was actually part. Well, when I met these people, they were in one community, and then we jumped from another, and then eventually ended up here.
Okay, very cool. And so, whenever you came here with those people, did you ever think that you were gonna rank up to the position to be like running a complete division?
To be honestly, no. Uh, kind of a long story short, the only reason I joined gaming communities because at one point my son was in them. Like, oh, cool. My son lives in a different state, so I was like, you know what, I'll join. I'll be able to get the game and talk with my son, and one thing kind of led to another, and next thing you know, I've got a wonderful division staff and a wonderful division that I'm looking over. So.
Yeah. No, that is an awesome point to make about these gaming communities and TSB in particular. It's like you say that you and your son live a distance away from each other, and you have this place that y'all can come to and play games and talk, and then it's like you're not in the same room, but you can be. And so that's another cool thing about these gaming communities. We always in these podcasts bring up cool facts about why it's awesome to be in TSB, and that right there is one of the top ones that I've ever heard. That's awesome. you know, they say, you know, that we have a bunch of members, and I'm always getting in here and seeing people that are like family and related. And I'm like, man, I can't wait till my son gets old enough to be
Oh.
able to bring in here so we can do that stuff. You know,
But
oh man,
yeah, you gotta try. You gotta try living in a house that has 3 gaming people, and a one that's running a division as well.
yeah, man. I
It,
tell you what, it sounds like gaming is a big part of y'all's lives in there.
yeah, I mean,
Everybody in your household a part of HR?
nobody in my household is a part of HR. Well, one used to be. She kind of went off and did her own thing. But my wife is also in TSB. She is the LG over in RH.
Okay,
Awesome.
keeping it all in the family. I like it. I like it.
Is your son in TSB?
No, but he is looking to rejoin.
Okay.
Yeah, get him back in here. We need all of y'all.
I'm working on it. I got that. I got that thumb on that pressure point.
All right. So, I tell you, you've spent a lot of time here in TSB. You've gone up through the ranks. You've probably, you've obviously done and seen everything from every position inside that division. What is some advice that you could give to, say, someone like Swift, who's been in for almost 2 months and is just kind of starting their journey up through the ranks, and or maybe someone that's like a sergeant that's thinking about ranking up? What's something that you would advise them to, you know, do to help get to that position that they're striving for?
I don't know. I guess I would say, um, I'm gonna be a little old school and kind of show my age when I say this, but if you're gonna do it right. Um, obviously, obviously treat people the way you expect to be treated. Um, and and work at it. I mean, it's not easy. I mean, I'm not gonna say here and say it's the easiest thing you're gonna do, but it's really not. But you just got to put the work in and push forward.
Yeah, I like that. It's if you're going to do it, make sure you follow those guidelines. And if you do everything the way that things are supposed to be done step by step, then how could you go wrong?
Correct.
Yeah, that's some great advice there, man. So, I want to ask you, what do you do for a living in IRL, in the real world?
I work for a company that supplies pipes, fittings, valves for the industrial field
Okay.
close to where I live. So
Okay. And are you in a management role in that as well?
no, no.
No. Okay. See, I would have expected that. That seems just kind of like who you are. You seem like you're a natural leader.
I've heard people tell me that before. I honestly don't see it, but but I guess I've done something right. I guess.
Yeah, that's the one thing that people have a hard time seeing is that what they're, where they are excelling in certain situations. A lot of times you have to hear it from someone. So, I know we've been focusing here on Nighthawk a lot, and I want to get over into another guest that we have here, Kitchen. You're the BG, and you're looking over those 2 squads, Ascendancy being one of them, where we have Seda and Swifty here. I want to ask you, you being in the BG position, you've obviously split a squad or 2, haven't you?
I have, yes.
Okay. What was when you split the squad, did you take over the existing squad or create a new one?
So Ascendancy came from Prominence, and I split Prominence. So that's how I came to be over Prominence and Ascendancy.
Okay, cool. Okay. So you've been in cahoots with this whole situation from the beginning.
Yes.
Okay. So I want to ask you, this basically along the same lines as what I was asking Knight. Like, when did you decide that you wanted to go ahead and dedicate ranking up inside TSB? Like, what is one of the main things that you're focused on doing as a div leader?
Well, I hadn't been in TSB long whenever I first started ranking up. But I took the jump, I thought it sounded interesting, and I started making like really close friends with some of the people who were already on the officer staff, and so that kind of motivated me to keep ranking up, honestly, and I just like really enjoyed doing it and helping other people, making friends, things like that. And as like a leader now, which it hasn't been that long, um, but I'd say that that's kind of like what keeps TSB going is that uh, like level of connecting with other people, and I think that that's something that I really want to keep going for as long as I can.
Yeah, that camaraderie, everyone working together as a team for the same goal.
Hmm.
Awesome. Whenever everyone works together for the same goal, especially in these squads, and those goals that y'all have set for weekly goals and like the game nights and the workshops and all that stuff, man, that can really be really beneficial for that type of situation. I want to ask, and I'll eventually ask all of you the same question, but I want to ask you, is there anything that you've learned in TSB that's benefited you in your real life situations?
Um, Honestly, I'd say that the thing that I've learned the most is like don't be afraid to talk to other people. Like I'm definitely more on the shyer side of the social interactions that I have, but it's definitely taught me to just talk to people if you find them interesting, if you want to make friends. It's definitely helped me out a lot.
All right, yeah, that public speaking thing, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense there. The being able to talk to more people more comfortably. Which, hey, Seda, I want to ask you that same question. Is there anything that you've done in TSB that's helped you in the real world, or maybe a skill that you've learned to help you in your real life situations?
Actually, so there's the same situation with Jazz, like with Kitchen. I'm also just like her, pretty shy, and it was actually like pretty hard to make friends with a Kitchen at first for me as well, because we were both shy and we're not really talking, so I made the jump. And since then I've just been talking to people just openly, so it's pretty much the same thing, just like hers.
Right. That is one thing that I've always really, really enjoyed about TSB is that non-judgment thing that we tell everyone whenever we're recruiting them in, and we're like, everyone is accepted. It doesn't matter who you are or what's going on. We're here to play video games and be friends and things like that. That is a real thing in TSB. Everyone really sticks to that. And I think it's because we all feel the same way. Like, say that you were saying you and Kitchen were both shy and kind of quiet. I think everyone comes into TSB kind of like that. They don't know what to expect. And then all of a sudden they're in a party with 8 other people. Everyone's going crazy and you don't realize it, but you've been playing something for like 3 hours. I'm going to move over to Nighthawk now. So, Nighthawk, I want to ask you that same question since you've been in here for such a longer period of time than everyone else. What's something that you've learned in TSB that you've taken over into the real world as a skill or something that you've used to benefit your situations in your real life?
But ironically, is how to control my mouth. I've actually learned how to, talk to people. But I'm also one of those that's not afraid to tell you how I feel, or, and kind of expressing myself in a different way of, saying you're disappointed without saying you're disappointed, or, I'll still do that from time to time, but most of the time I've learned how to choose my words.
Oh, yeah. Being able to cognitively think about what you're going to say before you say it is one of the most beneficial things I think I've learned from TSB myself. Being able to hold your tongue in the right situation.
Yes,
One
most
thing that,
definitely.
yeah, one thing that Div staff told me as I was coming up through the ranks, and when I was coming up through the ranks, we had Patty over in DS, and he's always been a great. Yeah, he's always been a great leader and always giving great advice. But one time he told me, he says that he said that it's best to praise in public and punish in private. And I've always remembered him saying that to me, and it was really cool. That's definitely one of the things that I've learned in TSB myself is like the the way to be a good leader and be stern and stick to like your role and the goal that everyone's working towards, but also not crossing that line and making someone feel like they don't want to be a part of it anymore.
Yes. I was told the same thing when I was coming up through the ranks. Hey, the 4 Ps. You know, that was that was kind of the motto for a while, was the 4 Ps, and it still is. But if Seda comes to me and she's got an issue, I was like, hey, look, sometimes you got to be that person. Somebody may not like it, but sometimes you've got to be the person to put your foot down and say, this is how it's going to be, and this is the way it needs to be done.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You definitely have to make sure that you stick, and it's all for the greater good. It's getting you to that goal where everyone is going to reach a level of success. So, Nighthawk, have you ever split a squad being all the way up in divs? I mean, I'm sure the squad that you split personally as a colonel was forever ago, huh?
Ironically, no, I've never split a squad.
Really?
Yeah.
That is a feat to get all the way up into that position and never split a squad. That's cool.
Yeah, there was, back in the, AVEC days, that, there was something that was gonna go down, and it got reversed, but they had promoted me to BG at that time. So they, instead of putting me back down at Colonel, they just left me at BG. So
Yeah. All right. Well, I tell you what. You know what? I've been doing a lot of the chit chatting and stuff. I know that my co-host here, Punk, has offered or worked up a couple of questions that she wants to ask y'all. I'm gonna toss the mic over to her real quick and let her take a jab at it.
All right. So first off, here's a question for all of you. Is anyone here a rejoin or have been here in the past?
no,
And
I'm not a rejoin. I've been here since day one. So
I took a small break back in December for a little bit and ended up rejoining earlier this year. But
So
I was already in for about a year at that point, so.
okay. So if you're not a rejoin, or you were a rejoin, what made you join in the first place? And if you are a rejoin, what made you come back?
So I joined. I was looking for meet some new friends, and I just was looking for a group website or whatever, and then I was been looking for days, and then I got recruited, and I found a thing, and I joined.
I
Um,
oh
I joined pretty much the same reason, just, wanted some people to play with. And I got convinced to rejoin by the people that I had met in TSB who were still in it and wanted me to rejoin.
I actually joined it because of a friend, like gaming friend of mine. She joined first and was like, you know what, Seda, there are people playing Rocket League and stuff in here as well. Like you could find some people to play with, and yeah, so I joined and found some people, which was great.
Okay, that's awesome. Um, how long was it between you joining and you deciding that you were going to rank up for the first time?
For me, it was probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks. Very short amount of time.
Same.
Actually, when I
Yeah,
joined, I was looking at the rank. When I was looking at the rank expectations, and it said you had to tell somebody. So within like a few hours of me telling somebody, I was getting promoted.
and I was already ranking up when I got here, so I just continued it.
What has been one of your favorite things that you've gotten to do while you've been ranking up in TSB?
Oh shoot. If it, for myself, um, I really enjoyed the recruiting process. Back when it was much easier for the PlayStation division. Um, you know, that was always fun to me. Because I could go in and do a recruitment and ad lib 100% of it. I knew it forwards and backwards. Um, you know, so the recruiting aspect of it was a joy for me.
For me, I would say, just making friends with people, honestly. I think that's like my favorite part of ranking up is connecting with the people in your squad. Super fun, and that's how I've made pretty much all the friends that I have right now.
For me, I would say it was the recruiting process as well, but also just pushing for goals as a whole team. It was that was made it more fun for me. So I would say that as well.
All right. What is what is something that you would say is like one of your favorite inside jokes or jokes from HR? Anything that you guys have done like that's just a constant joke or just like a one-time thing between the group of you guys that you would be comfortable sharing?
Uh, Absolutely, I'd have to say calling Nighthawk Grandpa. Um, he's been Grandpa since I joined almost 2 years ago.
Sadly, that is facts. But I'm okay with it. It's it's part of the territory just because of my age, and it doesn't. I can't say it doesn't bother me, but it doesn't bother me. But you know, it's all done in fun games. So as long as nobody's getting their feelings hurt, which I'm probably the most thick-skinned person you will ever meet. It doesn't bother me like they think it does. But other than that, I don't think there is anything that we really joke about that that we could put here. Um, there's probably a few things that we, joke about that's not PG. Just cracking jokes about sometimes Cowboy will get a little how do I put this nicely?
Y'all like to bust out the yo mama jokes every once in a while, huh?
Well, yeah, that and sometimes they get. I don't want to say explicit, but that it kind of gets that borderline type deal.
Yeah, I think
But
we
we
all kind
usually
of get what you're saying.
but we try to keep it where nobody gets their feelings hurt or anything like that. But that's the one thing I can say about the division staff that that I have in HR. We joke around, we kid around, but nobody gets upset or anything like that. It's just all fun and games and make things a little bit more interesting. Have a little fun.
Yeah, I think that if it's easier to trash talk amongst your friends than it is amongst strangers. So yeah, I can definitely understand because me and my friends we do some whenever we're in those games together.
Actually, so for those who are um, deciding that they want to rank up further, what uh, what inspired you or helped you decide that this is something that you wanted to pursue?
I liked it because it was like the satisfaction of seeing your name in general chat said you got promoted to whatever rank, staff sergeant, master sergeant, lieutenant, captain. Just the joy of that was pretty nice. Just kept seeing that and just felt even better.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. It was just seeing your name kind of changing along the way of ranking up and uh, you know, being able to expand that reach of talking to people and kind of getting a little bit more responsibility for your squad and things like that.
Yeah, it's just like some people might be like scared of ranking up sometimes because it looks like a lot of things to do, but it's like not actually that scary. It's more a hobby and it's fun to do, which was the same thing for me. I was scared to rank up because of the whole how it looked was already like stressful for me, but then I decided to, and it was actually pretty fun, and it's till this day still fun. So I would still recommend ranking up.
But you, Nighthawk, did you have any inspiration, or did you just go, yeah, I'm gonna do it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was like, you know what? I'm here. I might as well just see where it takes me. It's been a fun ride.
Yeah. What is I don't are you able to rank up higher, Nighthawk?
No, as far as in the division, I am at my last rank in the division.
Okay. Uh, to everyone else, what is your like goal for ranking? Like how high do you want to go before you're like, okay, no more?
I honestly don't think I have a cap, Like as long as I can keep ranking up, then I definitely will. Um, so until I reach that very last rank, I want to keep going.
Well, for now, my goal is BG, but obviously I want to keep going after that though. But yeah, so I just split, and I want to just get my squad to splitting again. For now, that's my first. How should I say it? That's my priority. But after that, of course, wherever it takes me.
And for me, as of now, I'm only a captain. I do want to hit colonel someday. I would go after that, but I'd be decently satisfied as only being a colonel. But I know eventually I do. But colonel right now would be fine.
Yeah, Colonel is definitely an interesting one. It's pretty fun, um, and it's definitely rewarding. What is something that you would like to share to everyone about if they're feeling a little iffy about joining a gaming community?
Um, I'd say just do it. You know, like if you take the leap and end up don't liking it, you can just leave. Um, but I don't really see any harm in taking that first jump and joining. Um, I've met some of the best friends I've ever had here, and you know, I'm really, really glad that I decided to join in the first place.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Well, I mean, we all know that you know whether it's TSB or any of the Hydra clans or any other clans for that matter, we know it's not going to be for everybody. So I would say take the leap, try it out. Um, you could be here for a cup of tea, or you could be here for 4+ years. You just never know.
I would agree on what both of them said.
All right, that's definitely some good advice. Um, who would you say is your TSB work, but your best friend?
Oh boy, that would be a long list, because I've developed a friendship with Percy, which he's now a director, um, and I've developed a friendship with some people that aren't here, and then obviously you got you know TC, Core, Pinky, Forsaken. I've become pretty good friends with that group as well. Uh, so yeah, my list would be long.
Yeah, honestly, I'd say the same as Nighthawk. It'd be a pretty long list. There've been plenty of people I've been friends with. But I'd say, in terms of best friends, probably the people that I first split prominence with. So Theta here and Torrential Haze, who's an MG right now in HR. Um, those are definitely two of my best friends in the server.
Yeah, that is the same for me. I would also say Kitchen and Torrential Ace, and of course there's a few more, but the list is pretty long on that end, like like Nighthawk and Kitchen just said. But yeah.
All right, that's awesome. It's always good to have, a friend to have, especially when you're working around and you need someone to lean on or whatever. Um, so so this is less about now TSB and more about, yourselves. What would you say is your favorite game to play on your PlayStation?
Um,
Oh,
I switch back and forth a lot. Normally, sometimes I'll play a game for a month straight and then switch to something else for a month. But at the moment, I would say it's Rainbow Six Siege. Honestly, I play that a lot with some of my friends. So
mine right now, I would have to say COD. Um, I played that a bunch, and of course, I just started playing a bunch of it just recently. Is the Crew Motorfest? It's pretty much between those two of which ones that I play the most. It would probably be COD, but uh, yeah, I play a little bit of everything as well. So it's just whatever I'm in the mood for.
In about like an hour span, I have probably played about like 8 different games. But I've really been playing the Modern Warfare 3 beta. I've been playing the new Assassin's Creed. And when I want to relax at night, I'll just play some Farming Simulator. Pretty relaxing.
I switch a lot as well. But mainly at the moment, I would say Rainbow Six Siege as well and Rocket League.
Do you guys have any like funny stereotypes like, oh, you play PlayStation, you must like Spider-Man or something like that that doesn't exactly like bother you, but can sometimes grind your gears?
Mine's been kind of a running joke between me and my wife. Um, she's obviously on Xbox. Um, so I from time to time I'll joke with her about come to the dark side. Um, or she'll tell me something, kind of like, well, you know, PlayStation's kind of like for losers or something like that. And I wouldn't say it wouldn't really grinds my gears, but it kind of irritates me just enough before my gears start grinding. But we bicker back and forth like that, and I'm sure it's like that between whether it's a DS, WI, or RH. Does the same thing to either IG or HR. So it kind of goes back and forth between everybody.
Yeah, same as my home, pretty much. It's just, those little funny ticks that happens between, Xbox and PlayStation most of the time. But nothing that's ever super serious.
Yeah, I agree.
That's pretty cool. I do find that pretty funny. There's always got to be a rivalry between the two Xbox and PlayStation, and then you get started with PC, and one's claiming to be better than the other, and all know that one's better and whatnot. Um, what made you guys decide to play on PlayStation compared to Xbox or PC?
Um, the
Um,
first console that I ever had, besides, something like a Wii, growing up was a PlayStation, and it was something my dad had. So that's what I started on, and ever since that's just what I've stuck with.
and the only reason I ended up on PlayStation because that's when I got into gaming communities, that's what my son had. But I was always an Xbox player, console person before then. So, and for those who are inquiring, yes, I own an Xbox too. So, I'm just not just a PlayStation guy just because I'm in HR. Um, but yeah, I switched over to PlayStation just because of my son, and I've been here ever since.
Yeah, my first console was a few years ago. Like my actual own console was an Xbox. I got it gifted, so I played on it obviously for years, and then everyone I've met online pretty much was on PlayStation, which was kind of a deal breaker sometimes because of communication and stuff. So I made the jump and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get myself a PlayStation. So yeah, that's how I got to PlayStation, and then for me personally, it was just better. It turned out to be better, but yeah.
With me, my dad got a PS2, and then we had a PS3, and then I think I had a 360 after that, and then we bought a PS4, and I've just pretty much I've been on PlayStation ever since.
Okay. Is there any game that you would rather have on the PlayStation that is, say, exclusive for only Xbox or PC that you think should be put on the PlayStation?
Sons of the Forest, easily. I am a huge fan of The Forest, and I cannot wait till they put Sons of the Forest on PlayStation.
There's actually two of them that I would like to see on PlayStation. Um, One would be Halo, obviously, and the other one would be well, what game was just released on Starfield? Because I like playing Elder Scrolls Online, so I would like to see those two on PlayStation.
There's actually two games as well for me. One is, like Kitchen said, Sons of the Forest. And the second one would be, for me, it's announced that it should come out, but I don't know when exactly because they keep delaying it. It's Phasmophobia. I'm a huge fan of horror games, so I can't wait till it comes out, but they're delaying it and it's upsetting.
Phasmophobia is pretty fun. I've played it a few times on my PC. Um, I don't have any questions, so I'm going to hand the mic back over to Warthog.
All right. So, I'm looking at the time frame here. We're reaching the end of our episode. I've been sitting back and listening and thinking about what I want my last question to be, and I'm going to direct this at Nighthawk. Um, Punk brought up, the goals of the other guests here and how they like where they want to go and if they want to rank up and things like that. You being that div lead position, and knowing that you've reached the top of the pyramid right there in that division, what goals do you have for HR, and where do you what are you striving to get it to, and where do you want to go from there?
As far as HR, you know, obviously, besides splitting squads, the ultimate goal is to split the division again. Um, that is, my first and foremost priority is getting to the division split. Um, After that, you know, uh, one day I would like to be a director and ultimately a senior director, but I'd at that point, actually at this point, um, where I end up is where I'm going to end up, and I'll just let it play out and see where it goes.
Right, so it sounds like you're comfortable where you're at. You like your position, and like you got the right goals in mind. That's good. Sounds like HR is definitely on their way to that div split. I know that y'all have some work to put in, but it sounds like you've got the perfect group of people, even right here, to definitely get you to that position. I know I foresee good things in HR's future. I hope the best for y'all. Mentioning last thing I'm going to say is mentioning games that need to swap consoles and go over to the other one. Me being in an Xbox division, Nighthawk, we'll give you Halo when y'all give us God of War. All right. So
I
we'll
knew
make
that was coming.
we'll make that fair trade right there. But until then, we're just going to keep Halo in our back pocket.
Yeah, I kind of figured that was coming. But before we cut out of here, I've got a few things that I would like to say to the people of HR, if that's cool.
Absolutely, go ahead.
Okay. First and foremost, thank you for having us on here on the podcast. It's been fun. Um, but as far as HR, to the division staff, appreciate everything y'all do. I know I'm probably not as round as much as I should be, just because of my business, my my work life. It's pretty hectic. Thank you for holding down the fort and making sure everything runs smoothly in the way it should be. To the majors, colonels, and the rest of the to the members, thank you. I appreciate everything that y'all do for HR. I appreciate the effort and the time that y'all put in. I say this every time: without y'all, there is no HR. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
A true leader, if I ever heard one, man. Those are great words. It sounds like you really care about your people, man. That's awesome. I want to thank y'all as well for coming on here and being a part of our podcast and taking time out of y'all's day to be a part of ours. Thank you so much, guys. This was a lot of fun. Y'all were really informative. I had a great time. Um, you know, I'm it's episodes like these that make me want to keep pushing in these podcast things, So thank you again for being here, Punk. You have anything you want to say before we sign off from here?
Nope. It was nice meeting all of you guys, and I hope to talk to you guys again in the future.
Oh yeah. I see some friendships blossoming from this podcast right here, definitely. But to all of our listeners out there, thank you again for listening to us. If this is your first time listening to us, please give us that like or that follow button. We appreciate all of you. Just like Nighthawk just said to his squad, there is no podcast without you guys. Thank you so much to everyone that guested with us today. Thank you to our listeners. We're going to go ahead and sign off. And I'm your host, TSB King Warthog. Right here beside me, TSB Punk. We're signing off. And always, take a seat.